Hello, hello, beautiful people. This is your brother Major, my mama's favorite hope dealer. And I want to welcome you to the hope in between with me, Major, and my good sister, Eunice Elliott. Eunice, how are you feeling today?
I am feeling wonderful. How are you feeling, my friend?
You know what? I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm a little spent and there's great things happening, but I'm like tired. And
Hmm.
I think you know what I'm talking about because you've been on the road quite a bit
Yeah.
as well. And we'll get more into that. But before we do, I want us to do what we always do before we lean into the flow, the schedule, the regime, the plan of action of this show. We catch our breath. And beautiful people, I want you to understand that this is an essential way and part of your day that I think you should keep as a priority in all spaces and in all moments. Don't ever let life rush you so much so that you forget to catch your breath. So, on the count of three, let's take a deep breath in. One, two, three. Now let it out. One, two, three. Now let it out. Now, this time, I want you to think about all of your circumstance, all of the things that are weighing down on your mind, your anxiety, your depression, your frustration, your uncertainty, your fear, your worry, your doubt, your excitement, your joy, all of it. Whatever it is that is pulling from you. Let's take a deep breath in with that and let it out. That right there is surrender. Surrender to a power that is greater and bigger than all of us. It is surrender to the gift of what the present moment is trying to give you. There are answers in the present moment. And when we rush ourselves in this great thing called life, we miss it. And I don't want us to miss it. This is the hope in between, your midweek relief. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome. Let's get into it.
You and that you're welcome. You have told me you're welcome
Listen,
so many times without me
because
saying
I be
thank you.
knowing these are jewels, these are benefits. Let's just call it what it is.
How many times have you said you're welcome to me? And I'm like, wait, did I say wait?
Ah! It's like I need them to know
Okay.
this is a blessing.
Yes,
Don't
it
miss
is.
it.
I'm here with you. I got it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, Eunice, talk about your week, your weekend, your week. What's been going on?
The tour is back up and running. We had a break over Christmas and New Year's.
Pause. Put the clap track on
Oh,
that. Come
oh,
on,
well,
tour.
listen, I thought that was just for you. I can clap for me too.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
can
want to just
clap for
be weird.
yourself.
You know, I'll be using that more often, so. And so it's been great because we've been going to places that I've never traveled to or never performed in.
Now,
So
who is
last
we?
weekend,
So that
we
people know. Yeah.
let's see, Minneapolis. Last weekend we were in Minneapolis, Iowa, and Omaha, Nebraska. This weekend coming up, we're going to be in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Springville, Missouri, Springfield maybe, and somewhere else. Oh, Wichita, Kansas. Yeah.
Now, who
So
is we? Let the people
Matt
know.
Matthews. I'm traveling with Matt Matthews. It's his headlining tour produced by Live Nation. Matt Matthews is a TikTok star. He does farm chores on TikTok, basically has these crazy interactions with his animals. He has this huge following, like 5 million people. And those people, most of them have never been to a comedy show, but they come to his shows. Most of his shows are sold out. This weekend, we had a sold out show in Omaha, about 2,000 people. And it's fun for me because they don't know I'm alive. They don't know I exist. And so when I go on stage, it's like, that's
Until
not
they
him.
do.
And
Until they do.
until they do. And so that's been a lot of fun. I've been selling a lot of books, a lot of t-shirts, a lot of my merchandise. So it's been really cool. But you do get tired and it's an energy pool. And I know you'll appreciate this. When you perform, that's one level of energy. And then when you're engaging and interacting with fans and the audience
Whole nother
afterwards, that's
level.
another level of energy. And then when you go to your hotel, sometimes that adrenaline doesn't just switch off. You're like up
Mm-mm.
and you can't sleep and you can't rest.
Right.
And then you
That's
have to do
right.
it again for two more nights at least. So finding that balance. So during the week, I get to come home and hang out with my dogs and clean and plan and pack and rest and write. And so, looking forward to having a good, long, productive week outside of the tour, but enjoying myself. I am having a good time.
Excellent, excellent. So
And you
people
were
can get to
somewhere
wait
exotic, weren't
before
you?
you get to me.
Oh,
Slow down. People can
wait
get
before I
tickets
get to
to
you.
your
Ooh,
show.
yes.
Tickets to your show. What's the website for that?
You can go to mattmatthews.com. You can go to my Instagram page. The tickets are in the bio. And if you do want to go to a show and you see that we are coming to a city near you, send me a note. I will put you on my guest list. You don't even have to buy tickets. I would just
That's
love for you to
only
come and check it out.
That is only for the Hope in Between
Yes.
podcast supporters. So
Yes.
if you are listening, if you are watching, you have an opportunity to go and see my girl Eunice in her element, and she is absolutely hilarious, y'all.
Well,
she is
thank you.
she's rightfully qualified for the stage.
Thank you so
um
much. I actually just
yes,
booked two new dates that aren't on the tour. Two headlining shows in March in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and Clarksville, Tennessee. So I'll get
stop
those added
playing
to
with
my
her.
schedule. I'll get
That's
those
it.
added to my schedule. That happened earlier today. But anyway, so
Come
now back to
on.
you. Back to you. I feel like I caught you being somewhere kind of exotic and relaxing. Did I?
Yes, yes, you did.
Okay.
I was in Costa Rica.
Yes, you
I was in
were. What was that
Costa
about?
Rica for an empowerment event that I had to sing for, a women's empowerment event. And these women be liking me to serenade them, and I serenade them with that hope. I'd be dripping the
Here we
hope
go.
on
Is
them,
that what they
that
call?
hope
Is
and
that what the
love,
kids
life, and
call it
future.
nowadays?
That's what they
Okay.
call it. Gang, gang, hope. Anyway, uh,
Uh-huh.
it was a really good time, a really great time being out there. I met some incredible people. I had some encounters at random with some folks that like found out who I was, that did, because I was a surprise for this particular event. But the guests that stayed at the resort that I was on, Dreams La Mareas, it was really beautiful. Raccoons were coming out of nowhere, and you can't scare them or do nothing. You got to just let them do what they gonna do. It's so
Uh-huh.
weird. They come out in families. That was weird to me, and it was not okay. Watch one raccoon literally take a woman's plate, take the food off of the plate, puts it down on the thing, starts eating only the bread, left the salad part, left the salad. I said that may be an American raccoon right there.
That is an American
Um,
raccoon on
yeah,
vacation.
and,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. And a monkey was on my balcony. That got on the balcony. There's monkeys that, because they built this situation in the middle of a jungle, in the middle of a
Okay.
forest, and so you have monkeys that just go balcony to balcony, and literally the monkey grab the handle and start beating on the the door, the glass door, because they know how to get into. So
Right.
you have to keep them locked. That's some crazy stuff.
Who
No,
doesn't know that
thank
they
you.
need to keep the door locked so monkeys don't come in? Like, don't you
I'm
not do
just
that
glad.
in Los
No,
Angeles?
listen. I didn't know you needed to put the extra latch on it. If the door is closed, I'm not thinking the monkey's going to open the doors. But yes, they do.
Yes,
And
they do.
so thankfully, I didn't get attacked by a monkey.
Nice.
I had a great time. I did get stung by a bee. My first time ever being stung by a bee. The
He is so
hysteria,
delicate. I can't take it. You just
the
too delicate
hysteria.
for me.
I said, ah, and I turned around. I was in the pool, and I look at the bee and I said, "You want to die today?" And literally, the new friends that I met are like, "No, no, don't hurt the bee."
Well, he didn't already stung you. He's over you now.
I done got stung, and you don't want me to hurt this sucker that done
Oh,
took a bite out of me. And sure enough, the literally one of the women, she's from the UK, jumps in the water to scoop up the bee and put it onto the side. But apparently, after a bee stings, it dies.
yeah. I was
I
gonna
didn't know
say
that.
your work was already done.
Yeah, so they did have to extract the stinger out of me. I was totally thinking I was about to die or something
I was gonna say,
because
this sounds very dramatic for bee sting. Even saying
I
extract the stinger is a little dramatic.
I googled bee stings in Costa Rica, and it says deaths from 1996 to 2000,
Really?
and it
Okay.
talked about death bee stings, and I'm just like, what?
Probably not. Probably not.
Yo, it was crazy. But right before I went to Costa Rica, I was in New York. I got to do a media run, and Boston, did some stuff for the MLK Day festivity in Springfield. It was some good times. Did radio. I did made a stop at Essence magazine, and I don't know
Okay.
if you saw the clip that they posted. Most likely not, if you're saying okay. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Well,
Um,
tell me about the clip.
no, no, no. It was no. You can check it out on my Instagram. I was saying you probably didn't see it if you were like, okay, because
Oh,
that
because it
was
was a
clear
bigger
that
deal than that.
no, no. I'm saying I now realize you may not have seen it. I thought you saw it because you also saw one of my other posts earlier today,
Yeah.
and
No, I don't
the
I
Essence
don't know that
Fest
I've
was
seen
before it.
every post you've made. I usually will comment or acknowledge the ones I have seen.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
anyway,
it is what it is. We had a good time. We are
good.
here.
I have
DEI and
Costa
all.
Rica on my list as a potential birthday location.
It was
I've never
fun.
been.
Oh, I ended up needing to buy some time because me and my road manager, Uncle G, had to go to the airport, and he had a way early flight, and mine was in the afternoon. And so the taxi driver became my new buddy. Juan took me to Cocoa Beach, and
Okay.
we had breakfast, and we're on the beach. Did a serenaded video for his daughter, whose birthday was that day. It was a good time, man. I
Oh, good.
I enjoyed myself, but came back to cold temperatures in Los
Cold
Angeles,
temperature in
California.
Los Angeles, so that's still very relative. It's not negative
60
30.
degrees.
Oh no. Did you get your fur out of storage? Anyway, stop being ridiculous, sir. He's
No, it
so
was
jealous.
so cold. And New York was dumb. New York was cold.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You're coming from New York and you're coming back to 60 degrees and that's cold to you now?
I just wasn't expecting LA to be cold, but I was grateful because it brought the rain last night, and it
Right,
rained
right.
heavy. Yeah.
Yes, rains are heavily and much needed. I wanted to talk about what we're going to talk about this week. I'm ready.
Let's go.
I have a
Let's
lot to
get into
say.
it. Let's go. What's the theme? Talk about it.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about it. Oh.
Okay, I will. I will. All right, beautiful people. Today's theme for this episode is dysfunctional loyalty. How to know when it's time to let go of a long term friendship, relationship, or situationship that is no longer serving you well.
Mm.
Dysfunctional loyalty.
Now,
Let's talk about it.
would you say that you suffer from dysfunctional loyalty?
Absolutely.
Yes, I can see that for you.
Absolutely. Giving people and things way too much of me for
Mhm.
way too too long, well beyond the expiration date. And I see it in retrospect. Dag, I had an out, or I could
Mhm.
have just not said yes. Like, it's okay to say no, you know.
Right.
And one of the commitments for this new year was I'm stewarding my generosity. I'm going to be a better steward of my generosity and my loyalty.
Good. Good. So but
Yeah.
but when you say, "Oh, I had an out," you don't feel you can circle back and still get out.
Well, now I will say that at the end of last year, I made some tough decisions to part ways. All last year, I made some tough decisions to part ways from people and things I was loyal to for far too long, that
Mhm.
were not reciprocating the level of loyalty or even a fraction of the loyalty that I was given. And it breaks your heart because
Yeah.
sometimes we put loyalty in the things that we think, oh, they're going to catch on. They're going to realize this is a beautiful thing. This is a good thing. And they're going to make sure I'm good until they don't.
Mhm.
And it hurts. It hurts
Mhm.
deeply because, for me, I'm a freaking I'm a damn good person.
Mhm.
I'm a good person. I love greatly. I
Mhm.
care greatly. I will assure that you are taken care of. If we say we're in this together, you know you'll never have to question if I'm rocking with you. And it hurts when you don't get that back. It does. It
And is
does.
that a function of, obviously it hurts when you don't get it back, but then does that fall also into the category of expecting you from someone else?
Absolutely. I remember in college, one of my best friends said, I think you see me more of a friend than I see you. Like,
Mm.
like you
Mhm.
see our friendship as more than what I see our friendship as. And
And how did you handle that?
I was like, God dang, I ain't never heard nobody say some stuff like that. And I started looking like I'm desperate like that. And it wasn't so much that I was desperate. It was just that I just believed that there was more of a friendship. I cared more about it.
Mhm.
Like even when I'm just gonna say it, when I pledged my fraternity, I remember, dealing with somebody that said, you care about this more than what most people care about.
Well, but
Like
that's
you
because
want
you
to
bring
make
your
sure.
whole self to every situation. I can say when we
Yeah.
first started talking about this podcast and putting this podcast together, you would ask me to care as much as you.
I would be like, "Hey, can you say
Could you
something
just
about
could you
could you
just
just mention this? I know we're talking about it now, but do you mind repeating that when everybody comes together?" You're like, "Maybe, I
I
guess.
mean,
I
I don't
got."
feel that way about it, but okay. But
Yo,
that's a beautiful trait to have. But you also have to, if you're going to be that type person, which you already are, you're going to have to be vigilant about boundaries.
that
You're
part.
going to have to be vigilant about expectations,
That part.
because the thing is, I think you could probably guess from my personality and what I have shared with you and on this podcast, I do not have dysfunctional loyalty. Okay, if this ain't it, this ain't it. We're not doing this. We ain't never gonna talk about it again. I don't care if we share DNA. I don't care if we shared a house, an apartment, a dorm room. I don't care where we used to be. That there was a beginning. I am fine with the end showing up whenever it does. But that
Right.
also is something that I've had to learn. I used to not do that. And a place where I really used to not do that, and now I'm adamant about it, is in past relationships, romantic relationships that end. I used to
Yeah.
still be friends or friendly with exes because I was like, well, just because we didn't work out, they still are a decent person, or. And then I had to let go because I realized that was dysfunctional loyalty to someone
Yeah.
who never offered loyalty to me in any setting, and I still made myself so readily accessible to them to answer the phone or reply to a text or do a favor or, hey, can you call that person for me? I know you know them. And now I pride myself on not being friends with exes, and I used to not be able to see why that would be a problem. And now I'm like, no, you do not have access to me in any way, shape, or form. Most of them, I don't have anything bad to say, or I don't even remember them that well, consciously. But I'm really good with boundaries. I'm really good with boundaries of like now, sometimes people treat you poorly, right? And sometimes when I have been treated poorly in the past, I will naturally go to, now what did I do to deserve that? And sometimes I might be able to get to, okay, you know what, maybe because this and this, or maybe when I said this, or maybe that's when it changed for them. But more often than not, I cannot see how I got to the point where you need to treat me poorly or you needed
You
to
know, you
be
know,
disloyal to me.
honestly, and I didn't realize that I've been loyal to a lot of narcissists. So what you get
And that's
back
easy to
is
do. That's easy to do. Mhm.
yes. And so what you get back, and because a lot of narcissists are very talented, they're very
Mhm.
gifted at whatever they do.
Very
And
charming. Yeah.
and yeah, and so I have been loyal to um the potential of them balancing out and getting healthy where it comes to their emotional regulation and maturity. I'm
Mhm.
just like, yeah, I know they mean well. So I'm going to
Mhm.
kind of deal with this. And then but one of the things is I'm not I am a person where I'm like, oh hell no. Like
Mhm.
it'll be the polar opposite where I'm like, absolutely not. Not going
But
to be
how much
okay.
in your face does it have to be for you to get it immediately? Does it have to be like
Once I see, honestly, I think I kind of move when I see that they're hurting other people. that's a thing that I'm like, when their behavior has hurt somebody else,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, nah, I can't be a part of that because I
Okay.
think now my loyalty is endorsing a behavior that is now hurting other people.
Mm.
And so it's kind of ridiculous because it's like I should matter just as much as the other people that I see
Mhm.
being hurt. But I'm starting to do better because this past year, like I had to cut off some very great some relationships with some great people, and it sucks and it hurts. And people are like, are y'all really no longer cool? And I'm like, no,
Mhm.
we're not.
Mhm.
It's
Well,
not
and this
what it
is
is.
my
And I
question
can't
to
be
you.
okay with it.
Well, but here's the thing. So I feel like, and I'm asking you this, I don't have a loyalty kink. I think you may have one. I know someone, I'm not going to say their name. They have a loyalty kink. And then when I say that, I mean, whenever they introduce me to someone or if anyone is in that person's orb, there's always a mention of how long they've known each other. He'll say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I've known this person for 15 years," or they will introduce the concept of, "Oh, yeah, we met 10 years ago." And it's because they know he has this attachment to how long I've known you. And it doesn't
And
matter how
looking
long
out
you've
for
known
those
somebody.
people. Yeah.
Right. Right. Just because you've long known someone a long time, to me that's not a testament to a relationship or a
Well,
friendship.
what I hate is when someone puts over your head like I was there from the beginning. And so now you're feeling, oh, I really have to be loyal to this person
Mhm.
because they did believe in me in the beginning. Yes, they did
Mhm.
support me. But if your behavior starts to perpetuate abuse, know me from the beginning or not, know
Right.
me now at the ending of this. And
Right.
so I'm now getting better there because this is the thing, Eunice, and I told you, I know I'm my mama's favorite hope dealer, but I'm often challenged to live the hope I give. Often it is put to the test because I help a lot of people recover from bad relationship or restructure relationship dynamics that are unhealthy. I help a lot of people and I would advise them, hey, cut it off.
Mhm.
Speak your piece, communicate, lower the expectation because now you're just living in a perpetual state of offense because your
Mhm.
expectations are too high for somebody that has perpetually shown you who they are.
Mhm.
And so I
But
have
then
to
you wouldn't
practice
do
it
it
for myself.
yourself. Right.
I have not been the one that has done it always for myself. But when I do it, I do know sometimes it's refreshing when I finally do it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yo, because I think sometimes I think, oh, I can endure it a little bit longer. I can take abuse because sometimes I think I'm more intelligent than the person that's perpetuating it. So
But
I
why
have
would
like
you
this
ever need to
sympathy.
endure any abuse for any amount of time?
I don't need to. I don't
Ever.
need to.
So let me tell you, I give people this is for people pleasers and for people who kind of just are surrounded by dysfunctional loyalty, one-sided loyalty at that. This is a way to help you get over that. Okay, so we're just going to use vocabulary words, not emotions, not specific situation. We're going to use vocabulary words. So the word doubt means you're not sure of something. You question something. You may not fully believe in something. The word doubt, doubt. Okay. So that's just a word with no emotions. That's what doubt means. For whatever reason, in our colloquialism, in our vernacular, we use this term. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, what I will tell anybody is I don't give anyone the benefit of the doubt because now let's go back
Hmm.
to vocabulary. Benefit. It is there to serve you. It is there to help you. It is there to support you, to benefit you, right? Why would I have intuition, um, knowledge, intellect, experience, all these things, and now I have doubt, and I'm going to offer you the benefit of my doubt? Absolutely not. Offer yourself the benefit of your doubt. And that means I'm going to go the other way. I have doubts about this, but instead of me giving you all the benefits of this bad feeling I have, I'm going to give myself the benefits of this bad feeling I have and go the other way. So that is number one. The way you can start creating boundaries is give yourself the benefit of your doubt.
Hmm.
You're welcome.
I think I I'm on the fence with that one
Okay.
because I while I agree that it is very special that even the flip on that is to give yourself the benefit of your doubt.
Hmm.
I think at the same time, the benefit one of the things that often happens, and I think that's also connected to people that move into a pattern of dysfunctional loyalty, is that we've been hurt and let down before, so much so that we don't want it to be a repeat.
Hmm.
One. So we're trying to find whatever we can find that allows us to make the situation feel or appear better than what it really is, because we don't want it to be a reiteration of an experience that traumatized us before.
Hmm.
And so we're trying to believe, okay, I'm not going to let this end bad. I know that this there's something good in there, because I do believe there are often intentions that people have that they just miss the mark multiple times. But my thing is, I do think that sometimes certain traumas will make you assume the worst too soon.
Right. But assuming is different than doubt. Don't you think?
No, I do
No,
think that
doubt is based
I
on
think
data. I have been giving some information and I don't fully believe it. I don't fully trust it. I have my doubts about this information that's been presented. Assuming is I don't have any information, but it reminds me and it smells like something else. So if I don't have no information, I'm going to make an assumption on how this can end because I don't really have information. If I have
and
information and I have doubts about it, no.
I don't think doubt I don't think doubt is only information based, that is factual information. I think doubt is information based on your on experiences lived. So you frame a perception based on the extent of information that you have, and that's why one doubts. Like if you're like, yeah, I've been in enough of these situations to not think that this is going to work out, or I've seen this before, or um such and such is making me feel this way, so I'm just going to believe that they're probably not meaning well, so I'm assuming.
But see, that's still assumption. That's
So
different than doubt. Let me put the doubt in the context that I believe you'll receive this. How many times have you told a story or have heard a story, and all the while the person is retelling or you retelling the story, you say, "Well, that was the first red flag," and then you tell how you continue, and you're like, "And you know what? And I should have known when this happened, but I went ahead." I'm saying those are the things that you had doubts. You can tell the story and say, that was the first thing that I didn't feel good about, but I didn't listen to my first mind, or I went against my
so you're
better
talking about
judgment, or I gave
intuitions.
them the benefit of the doubt. All of those things are based on information that you chose not to give yourself the benefit of. All those phrases that everyone says all the time. Well, some in my right mind, some in the back of my mind. My first mind, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. There's some people say the Holy Spirit tried to save me from this, and we will then go the opposite way from the information. That's different than I'm assuming because he's a man, he's gonna be horrible. See, that's different than
Mm,
doubt.
I think doubt, for me, just I can't shake it. It just has many layers to it. But
But
let's
when you
talk
say it
about
has
this
many
dysfunction.
layers, you mean you won't, if you have
Meaning
doubt, that
there's
doesn't mean that you're going to
connotations to
trust
it
that.
that
You're going to still possibly
align with
give the person the
assumption
benefit
based
of that
doubt,
doubt.
a doubt that's informed by assumptions. There's doubt that's informed by factual information. There's doubt. There's doubt that's informed by fear. There's doubt that's informed by um, a lack of boldness, or a lack of belief in yourself. So I think there's different things that inform doubt, and assumption, in my opinion, can inform doubt sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nevertheless,
But I think they're still not mutually inclusive ideas. Yes, assumptions
n-
can fuel doubt, but I believe in my experience, and this is my experience today as a human, I
yeah,
don't assume things, but I do
yeah,
allow my doubts to benefit me.
right. I
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah.
And I'm not opposed to that. I respect it. I know that I also don't want to jump to conclusions because often I have this thing as well where I can jump to an assumption, like I piece the story together. Like, because I don't have absolute information, I can only go with what little I have. And then I start putting together a worst case scenario sometimes. And it's not cool because it ends up hurting me more. And I find out, hey, that person wasn't even thinking that way.
Or wasn't thinking
So,
about you at all.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we overinflate our import in other people's minds and hearts, and we naturally
Say
default
that.
to worst
Ooh,
case scenario. When we come
we
up with
overinflate our import into in people's lives.
always.
That is, I've done that. I've
Yeah,
done that because
always.
I inflate people in my space, like I make them bigger in my space, and I just assume that
Mhm.
I should have residence in
Mhm.
certain people's
It
heart and
might
their
be that
concern.
post, it might be that outfit, it might be that thing, "Well, I don't want people to think this," and you do it, and no one thought anything about it, no one cared, no one acknowledged, no one and you're like, "Wow, I took a lot of time thinking that someone." I think the day I realized
I
nobody
told you
cared
today,
about
I
me.
let,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
go ahead.
did. Somebody let you made you take down a post for some ashy elbows.
Yeah. And you're like, you were like, oh, that was a cool picture. And you didn't even notice it.
I didn't
And
notice the
so
ashy
I
elbows.
let someone else's insecurity project. And I don't even want to say it like that. I let someone else's analytical critique because they're good people. So
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
going to say they're,
yeah.
yeah, but they projected. And so I took it down because I'm like, well, if this person thought it, maybe everybody's thinking that.
No, and
And
so guess what? Then you can add a caption, "Ignore my ashy elbows." If you thought they were ashy, you like the picture.
that part.
But here's the thing. I've told you this before. Someone can offer me something. That doesn't mean it's mine or for me. I will let them know if I receive it or not. Oh, I received that from you. Thank you. I received that from you. Or I can say, I don't think that's for me. That might be something you dealing with. It's not mine,
Yo, that's
right?
good.
And I would let people know in real time so they understand the effect they have on me and other people. And so sometimes when someone offers me something, I will stop and say, now, the only reason you offer that to me is because you receive information like that about yourself from other people. And I want you to stop doing that. I don't receive that from you, but I don't want you to receive it from anybody else either. People who feel bad want to make other people feel bad. People who operate in joy and love, that's all they trying to make other people feel. So when somebody
Yeah.
comes at me with negativity, I'm like, oh, bless your heart, you going through it. Because
Yeah.
that don't live here. I'm not going to offer you that. And I don't receive it from you.
But I even love that you just said, bless your heart, you're going through it, and you still detach. I say,
Absolutely.
bless your heart, you're going through it, and now how can I help heal it?
Absolutely
And
not.
that ain't my job.
It
I
ain't your
ain't the
ministry. That is
savior.
not my ministry. Now,
I
let me
ain't your
tell you,
savior.
I have been in a lot of situations, primarily Ubers, where people have talked me to death. And I have to say a silent prayer and say, Lord, they must need somebody to talk to. I don't want it to be me, but I let them say, I acknowledge, I confirm. And in recent history, those conversations that I did not have any interest in having have blessed me or informed me in a way that I had not been before. Right. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. One of them, I'm gonna just drop it. It ain't got nothing to do with this, but it was a veteran, and he was telling me about he had PTSD, and he was in counseling, and he was saying something that people never think about, and I had never thought about this. Is on the 4th of July with the fireworks. He was saying how many veterans struggle with the 4th of July and the fireworks because of the PTSD. He said people check on the dogs and they don't check on us, and it broke my heart. Never heard that, never thought of that.
Yo.
And he said people don't realize how many vets lose their mind on the 4th of July. And that was just my Uber driver.
Yo.
That was just my Uber driver. I'm just sharing that because
Eunice, that is powerful.
do you hear me? And I was like, wait a minute. And he said, but people check on the dogs with the fireworks.
You just opened up a whole nother capsule.
Thank
You
you.
did
That's why I
see
said
this.
just put a pin in
No,
that.
but thank you on yet another thing for an empath to think about heavy. Thank you.
I know. That's why I said this ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but let me just drop it off for me so
but
you can have it. But when I
but
tell you I
even
got in that
during that,
car and he started
yeah,
talking and I was exhausted, I'm going to the airport and I said, well, Lord, he needs somebody to talk to. So just let me listen. And he dropped that on me. And it was like, it informed something in me that I never had known or thought or felt. and was like, wait. And even he went so far as to tell me his wife, they used to live on a base. And one time his wife was outside bringing a garbage can in or something. And the sergeants came to the neighbor's house to inform that woman that her husband wasn't coming home. And his wife has PTSD of door knocks.
Yeah.
And so we don't think about how many people just in
Yeah,
life
yeah.
are
It's
going through
it's
so many
it's
things that's so
wild.
innocuous and tiny or that we don't even think about, right? Um, and all of us are just trying. But it's like, but something like that, like Veterans
But
Day,
I'll just
4th of
say that.
July,
I'll
and
just
they always do the
to
fireworks.
bring that full to the
Please.
point. What happens is we all deserve the space and the care and the compassion for our own struggle and our own perspective to live and to be considered. Because when you are in dysfunctional loyalty situations, you disqualify yourself from feeling that you are worthy of being cared for or loyal to, or to be someone that whose opinion or being matters. And so that's really powerful even to hear that perspective. But it shows up a lot of times um in like what's happening in the world right now. Some people are loyal to politics, some people are loyal to celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
and it's wild because they're just like blindly or knowingly dysfunctionally moving in support and loyalty to these broken, disrespectful, self-centered systems and people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna just call it out, like the folks that are loyal to MAGA, when there are so many elements of it that literally blatantly say division,
Mm-hmm.
say separatism,
Mm-hmm.
say degradation of other,
Mm-hmm.
so many blatant things. And now they're slowly but surely finding out you were loyal to a thing that really didn't care about you.
Right.
Because now, in these first 7 days, we are now seeing why people were yelling from the rooftops, beware, this is not making it great again. It is making it better for the few and harder for the many and the
Mm-hmm.
most and the rest. And it's not cool. This
But you know
whole
what? But those
Go ahead,
people
yeah.
still feel like, I was having this conversation with someone this weekend. We've always had politics. We've always had Democrats, Republicans. MAGA is not Republicans. Now, the Republicans have allowed MAGA to hijack it.
Right.
But we've
That part.
always had a change in power. We've always had Republican presidents or Democratic presidents or Republican. It's become a different animal now, the division, because no one's working for the greater good of the country as a whole. It's us versus them. It's I hate you because because you're not me, basically.
Right.
But even with that, you know when a lot of things, so our president is a convicted felon, and some
Yes.
people have negative feelings about convicted felons, but even though they would vote for one to be the leader of the free world, they wouldn't want a convicted felon to
They'll
move into
judge
their
one any
neighborhood.
day.
Or
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah,
And so that's all crazy. But I've struggled, all of us have struggled with seeing some of our let's say entertainment heroes. I will say Bill Cosby.
yeah.
Okay. Cosby Show
Woo!
was so transformative for so many of us, and our hearts are
Yes.
broken. Like, can I not like the Cosby Show anymore because this person was this person? And I can tell you, it's not a lot of places that I've seen the Cosby Show, but I saw it this weekend in the hotel, and it's different to watch it. As much as I would fight somebody and say, yeah, still show the Cosby Show because this was an amazing thing for our culture, for America as a whole, it still feels different now. It's been tainted. Same
Yeah.
thing with musicians, and you find
That's
out
how it is
things,
with R. Kelly. I'm
all of
sorry,
it.
I don't listen to his music the same. Now, if that music, he made some amazing music, but to know that man
Tremendous talent,
was
right?
but also to know that there were my mind is telling me no, but my body's telling me yes, and you're in relation with an underage child at the time. There's
Well, let me
that
say,
bothers
with
me.
that, that's a great example. R. Kelly is a wonderful example, as Bill Cosby is a great example, as P. Diddy is a great example. They have always told us what they were doing. Bill Cosby had a whole comedy album called Spanish Fly, which is a drug you would put in a girl's drink to get her to pass
Mm,
out. I mean, so these things have always been telegraphed. R. Kelly already said what he was doing in his music. P. Diddy would say the things, we can go back and look at videos and interviews and say, huh, he did say that.
huh.
Wait, this was kind of an open joke. Harvey Weinstein, it was an open joke. Oh, yeah, you got a meeting with Harvey
Yeah.
Weinstein? It was an open joke in Hollywood, right? And so the thing is, now we're dealing with, let's say, some of the artists from our community that performed for the inauguration, right? And
Ugh.
then some people feel like, wow, were they not loyal to us? Are we supposed to
No,
remain
they were
loyal to
not
them?
loyal to their base. Nelly, your career is your career because of the black culture. Yes, you made uh pop status at a time. But right now, it is a black culture that has welcomed you back with open arms, even with the scare of
He's had allegations.
allegations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you spit in our face and made it seem like it was ridiculous for us to say that. If anything, say, I actually understand the issue. I understand that some people aren't okay with this, but I'll just say, please understand that what I'm doing is not co-signing. He didn't say that. What he says, he literally gets on the thing and he says it wasn't a political move, but and he starts quoting different offenses that he holds against Biden and holds against Kamala, as if he's rising up Trump as the one who did it right. And it's just a spit in the face,
Now,
a
you
slap in
said
the
something.
face.
You said something earlier. I wrote it down. You said, is my loyalty endorsing their behavior? I wrote that
And it
down
and
because
that's
you
what it
feel
does
like,
essentially.
yeah, yeah. Well, here's the thing, though, with that, even with the difference of MAGA versus Republican. Back in the day, let's say George W. or George
Did
H.
you say
or
bike in the day?
back in the day, let's say, I'm trying to remember the Republican presidents. It was like Bush W. and Bush H, right? Um,
Yes.
if you were invited to the
Reagan.
White, who was another Republican president?
Reagan.
Reagan. But I mean, as in our, like, in our adulthood,
Okay,
if
yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
if I had been invited to the White House when a Bush was in office, that at that time still would have been an honor to have been
Yes.
invited to the White House.
Yes.
And now
Yes.
it is not that.
It is
Okay? So when
not.
they say I respect the office, yeah, that office used to be a respectable thing, but the person in the office does not respect the office. So now you're
No.
holding it and it's like, well, wait, that did mean something. People have always gone to Republican or Democratic things at the White House or accepted commendations or invitations because that was a tremendous honor. For sure. It
But
does not
now
mean
this
that
show,
now.
because it has been disrupted,
Yeah.
contaminated,
Yes.
perverted,
Corrupted.
and corrupted, and it's just not right. That is why we're speaking to it. We're not saying you can't make your money and you shouldn't consider possibly opportunities that will help to bring people together. But
Mhm.
read the freaking room. When
Right.
we're not invited into the room, we're not even welcomed into the room. Look at the stage, man. Not one black person was welcomed on that stage. And the few that were welcomed on that day is after the stage during the inauguration. There are people that do not really respect the history of our own culture.
Mhm.
They're in denial of slavery's impact. They're in denial of our country still being racist. They're in denial of some very flagrant realities that it's very detrimental to take those stances. You know better. Snoop, you know better, man.
And you
You're
know
too
what? Snoop,
special to the culture.
Snoop in knowing better, in 2015 when he said, "Which one of you jigaboos gonna be
Yeah,
the
gonna be
first?"
a coon.
And
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
what? And I think they went after him because they had that video. You saw Elon Musk share that video of Snoop saying that and saying, "Hey, the switch is on." It's like we're gonna make him. It's a humiliation ritual more than anything. But it's one of those things where I don't think Snoop Dogg needed the money. And so that's where the question
No,
is. I
that's
don't think
what
he needed
bothers
the
me.
money. He's getting paid for so many things. He's been accepted into mainstream culture and media in a way that's still amazing. He's like NBC's mascot at the Olympics. Is crazy. So with Nelly, maybe it was a money thing and just very short sightedness. But let me say, ironically enough, as bad as that is for those people, for our culture to do it, Jewel performed. She got a lot of backlash. Carrie Underwood got a lot of backlash. So it's basically anybody
But
is getting the
Carrie
same
wasn't
backlash,
surprising.
but the
Carrie
responsibility.
Carrie Under Carrie Underwood wasn't surprising. We're talking about a culture. We're
Yeah, yeah.
cultural representatives that know our plight, that know the history of our people. And for
But
him to act as if what Trump has done, the bad stuff he's done, was so old and out, was many, many years ago, a person can change, when he literally called Haitians in real time terrible people, saying they're eating dogs and cats, like that's some crazy stuff, man.
but let me tell you what happens at a certain tax bracket. Okay. You no longer remember that stuff. It's
It
like we're
doesn't
saying,
no,
hey,
it
we
doesn't
know where you
happen at
come
every.
from and we've supported you. And yes, you are in a tax bracket that you probably would benefit from his tax plans for other millionaires more so than your community that you come from. But you have to, and this is not in defense. I'm saying this is just facts. We are not their community anymore. We haven't been for several billions of dollars in years.
Nah, let me tell you
They
this.
still count on us to support and support their product, but they haven't been in community with
No,
us in a
no.
long time.
Our community does not only it does not is not only populated by people that don't have.
No,
It
no,
is a
no. I'm not saying
community
by
that
don't have. When I say our
that is the
community,
spectrum is wide. The
no,
spectrum
when I
is
say
wide.
community, I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about culturally, morally, socially. They haven't been a part of our community
The
in a long time.
spectrum,
That's not just
no.
financial.
Nelly and Snoop have been a part of our community.
Not in
They
recent
literally,
years.
yes, they have, but they also have access to another community. And if that's what you're saying, that could be true, but they have been very much a part of our community. If Nelly acted like Candace Owens before all this, we wouldn't have cared. If Nelly acted like Azalea Banks, we wouldn't have cared. But we're talking about somebody that has literally rode back in on the horse of black culture. He has literally been welcomed in because he got back with Ashanti,
I was gonna
who's
say
very
because
much.
of Ashanti, because we was not checking for Nelly for long, long, long days. He had all those horrible allegations, and I'm saying he got with
we
Ashanti,
got
and then we said, "Oh, look at that." And so
we
by
got to
way of
wrap this,
Ashanti,
but listen, I
I'm
we
just
got to wrap
saying.
it, but listen, dysfunctional loyalty needs to be checked. Beautiful people, stop
Remaining
serving the
loyal.
things.
Yeah.
Stop serving stop serving the things that don't serve you.
Yeah.
Because I do believe that the intention of even God, our maker, is that we only engage in what is also going to be fruitful back. Because God will never throw us in purposeful things that will not cyclically give back as we give. Stop putting yourself in situations that leave you at great deficit while you are pouring in so much into that very thing. Reciprocity is the word. Reciprocation is the word. And no, I'm not saying it needs to be even. I know I'm not saying it needs to come in the same form, because oftentimes what we sow and reap, what we reap doesn't always come from the very place that we sow, but you will receive a return on it when it is a healthy thing you're sowing into. So I'm encouraging all of us to be mindful of that in business, in our family, in everything. Any other scenario, Eunice, I just need people just to know, y'all,
I will
we
say in
have,
relationships, sometimes people suffer in relationships because their mother suffered through, their grandmother suffered through, and they say, this is what it is. I'm going to stand
and
beside
it
them.
doesn't have to be you.
Right.
You do not have to be the keeper of that generational default. You do not have to be the keeper and the maintainer or the perpetuator of that generational dysfunction.
Hmm.
Let's change it. Loyalty, healthy loyalty is how we're moving
Hmm.
in the rest of 2025. You good with that, Eunice?
I'm good with that.
I like that. Beautiful people. This is the hope in between with me and my sister Eunice Elliott. My name is Major. I approve that message. Let's have the best rest of our week possible. And let's just make room for one another. And remember, we need to make room for ourselves too. All right. Yeah.